the Young Shen series. So this is about the art of self-nourishment. And this is just an ongoing series about the very simple things that you can be doing at home to help nourish yourself, to nourish life. And this is all set up for longevity, but also just feeling good in your body day to day. And so this last series, we've been talking about movement or exercise. So everybody knows that exercise is important, but sometimes I think we get stuck on the type of exercise or how it's going to look, and it's got to be X amount of time, this certain amount of intensity, and so many days a week. And there's so much resistance I find with myself sometimes, or with women in my practice, or just in life and talking with people. And I rarely have met anyone who feels poorly after doing exercise, unless it's the inappropriate exercise for their body type. But that often we end up not doing something because we think, oh, if I can't do it and it doesn't look like this, what's the point? And the reality is around movement or exercise, it's something beyond just getting to the gym or going for a run or a walk or something like that. The structure, it's really about this idea of movement. And movement is, we have this principle in Chinese medicine, it's called qi. And qi is like the life force. It helps, it's smart energy. It helps everything move in the body. It's anything that requires transformation, requires energy, speaking, talking, digesting, thinking, requires qi. And so qi moves energy in the body. It gives us that vitality, that oomph. It sparks, it's part of our immune system. It's got many things. This isn't a talk on qi, but qi circulates in our meridians or pathways in our body and helps to get, it pairs up with blood and it gets the nutrients where they need to go. And we can have if we're feeling good and we're eating well, exercising, all these little things we're talking about, we tend to have good qi. And that means we don't overuse our energy. We're resting, we're exercising, we're eating good quality food, we're listening to our bodies, we're changing from season to season. These are all these little things we can do to help our vitality and help our energy. But what can happen with qi sometimes is a few things can happen. One is it can get stuck. So if we have a qi stagnation, it's like a log jam in your body, and things will get backed up. We can have a buildup of toxins. We can also have pain, accumulations, muscle, it can come from an injury. We banged ourselves, or we've got a sprain or a strain, any kind of bruising can get stuck in an area. I actually did a couple of falls down icy stairs, and I've had to kind of grab onto a railing, and I have this area in my shoulder that's stuck, and it's consistently stuck. And so that could contribute to a qi stagnation. When our qi is stagnated, this can also come from energetic things, our emotions, or too much stress. We might get irritable. We could get shortness of breath. We could feel that constriction in our chest. We could get stiffness, body pain, headaches. If it's stagnated, sometimes we have trouble sleeping. And so it's really important that this qi is circulating freely in the body. And this is often when we're talking about movement. It's not simply exercise, but how can we help the energy move in the body and make sure it's circulating freely? So that's sort of like qi, that movement, and making sure it's not stagnated. The other thing that qi can get sometimes is depleted. And so if we're really, really run down, we can have a qi deficiency. And this can show up in many ways depending on the body, but we could feel shortness of breath. We could feel just lethargy, foggy headedness. We could have a hard time getting up in the morning. We could have when we sometimes qi holds things in place. So sometimes any kind of prolapse in the body, looser bowels, feeling bloated, distended, just really puffy or really heavy and kind of just low energy. That could be a qi deficiency. I'm going to tell you how this all applies to exercise shortly. And then we can have too much. And so if we have too much energy in the body and we're not getting rid of it, we can lead to things like anxiety or just a discomfort. A lot of times with stress, our body's set up for surviving. And if we have too much stress, we've talked about this before in different lessons, our body is flooded with cortisol and adrenaline. So then we have this very active energy in our body, and it can feel really uncomfortable if that energy doesn't have anywhere to go. So all this to come back to exercise and movement, it's really important for all these different reasons to make sure that we're doing the adequate movement and exercise to circulate chi, to make sure things are moving. That's usually if we've got sort of too much stress or a blockage, or we're feeling stuck in our body, and then we move, we feel naturally better. It's moving things. If we are trying to move, but we're naturally depleted in chi or energy, then we can feel worse after we do a big exercising activity. So if we're like, oh, I'm going to go do a really hardcore yoga class, or I'm going to go for a run, and then we feel worse after, we're depleting our chi more. So it's important that we're using or doing an activity that actually feels more nourishing. What does my body need today versus I should be doing this? So how to listen to the appropriate exercise for us. And if we have too much energy or too much of this adrenaline and cortisol in our system, and we're just sitting there. So a lot of times people get stressed at their computers, opening emails or dealing with things, and they're sitting. I find this so much right now. People are sitting at their desks for long periods of time and not moving, and they have all this circulating energy with nowhere to go. We feel uncomfortable. We're feeling anxious, trouble sleeping. This is people often will wake up in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., 5 a.m., have trouble falling back to sleep because they've got this too much energy and it needs to be expended. And so if going for a big, vigorous walk, sometimes people going for a run or dancing, whatever it is, that will help to make sure that energy goes out of the body and it's not just circulating inside. And so that will help balance that chi flow or energy. So there's many different ways. It's not just about exercising and having it look a certain way. We've really got to start listening to what it is that our body needs. Am I feeling stuck? Am I feeling frustrated? Am I feeling exhausted, but also need to move? Am I feeling anxious and I'm just revving too high? What is it that your body needs? And then taking appropriate action from there. And I think one other thing that's really important with exercise and movement is that it feels good. If it works for someone else, I remember one client, she was like, I think I'm going to run. I'm going to start running. I'm going to run. My friend runs and she loves it and she's doing really well and she looks really healthy. I'm thinking I'm going to run. And I asked her, do you like running? She's like, no, I don't like it at all. Nothing about it appeals to me, but she does it and it works for her. I'm going to do it. Like, no, what works for you? And so there's so many different ways that we can move our bodies. And some of them might be in a structured class and, something we would think about for exercise, swimming, running, walking, all those are wonderful. But there are really simple ways that you can also move your body in the day that don't require, that could be unique to you. Belly dancing, just putting on a dance song, whatever it is, 3 songs in a row. There was one woman I know of who lost 60 pounds just dancing in her living room. That was her only exercise, dancing in her living room every day, and loved it. I was talking with my cousin the other day, and sometimes when she really wants to feel free, and she'll close the doors because sometimes we have a shyness around, moving her body in a certain way or dancing, whatever it is, but that freedom, and particularly for women, I find unstructured, just movement and dancing and letting yourself move to whatever the type of music you like, can be incredibly freeing, not only for our bodies, but also for our souls and our psyches. You can do weights, you can run up and down stairs, you can, we did the Qigong class earlier, Heather did that beautiful Qigong class. There's a form, one of the Qigong moves we do a lot is shaking. And so if you're feeling there's a lot of energy or stuck energy, you can just do the shaking of your whole body, loose limbs and just shaking it out, shaking it out, shaking out. And that's really going to move the chi and move that energy and help that circulation in the body. So it's the biggest thing is doing something, helping your body move, listening to what it is that you're called to do, what it is that you're drawn to, joyful movement. Not to say that it's not going to be hard to get out there sometimes, and it's that first step, but finding things that work for you that ultimately you enjoy. There's many different things that I love. I love to move. I move every day, but it varies day to day. I love walking in nature. It is the thing for me, and just walking in general. I've always had dogs. I think I love dogs, but one of the first reasons I just wanted to go for these walks, and I felt like I need someone, I need a companion and I need a friend. And so dogs are, I used to, there's a short period I didn't have a dog and I'd borrow other people's dogs. And there's just something about the way dogs discover stuff. And it's just, we're off on an adventure. And I love that. But I also do it for exercise. Sometimes I used to run marathons when I was younger. And then I stopped because it wasn't becoming fun anymore. But now I just run until if I feel like, oh, I want to go for a run, I need to go for a run, I'll run until I want to walk, and then I'll walk until I want to run. And I have no agenda. There's no, I need to run for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or 40 minutes. It's just like I run until I want to walk and I walk until I want to run. And I can tell I listen to my body and it feels good. I also love to dance. I love doing weights. I do, Qigong is something that if I'm doing some sort of movement at night, it'll be Qigong. It's absolute, that balance between breath, mindfulness, and body movement. It is incredibly nourishing for me. Tai Chi, any other martial arts, yoga, beautiful ways, particularly these breath, mindfulness, and body movements are really nice because they help they check many boxes at the same time. So it can be incredibly nourishing and grounding while it's moving as well. So we just invite you to find whatever it is that you love to do and check into what your body needs. Is it something vigorous? Is it something light? It's going to change day to day, week to week, month to month, throughout the year. And so when you listen and honor that, instead of pushing through to do something or resisting because you can't do the full thing, whatever that is, if you can listen and honor that, your body's going to trust you, you're going to trust your body, and you're going to create that fluid movement every day, which is such a beautiful thing and necessary thing to for self-nourishment, and then just for our bodies to maintain that beautiful, healthy balance. So I'd love to know if you have any thoughts or anything else that you love to do, or that, your relationship with exercise or movement. You can pop it in the comments, and we'll be back. I'll be back again tomorrow with the next stage in our Yang Shen series. So thanks for joining me.